Hey class, this is Young. I'm your professor for Introduction to Software Engineer for the spring semester of 2020. Welcome to the class. Congratulations, as we have wrapped up Unit 1. I have read a lot of your discussion and I responded to most of them. You guys all did very good. I just want you guys to know that for discussion 1, what we really focused on is how sometimes even with a minor mistake could cause the software system that you have developed to not perform the way that both you and the customers intended for it to perform. And obviously it's pretty bad if you ship the software and you charge people money and it's not doing exactly what the people wanted to, then it's damaging both the company reputation as well as your ability to deliver high quality or even just working software. Um, just so you know that in software development, it is not easy to build good software. To build good software, a lot of time there has to go through careful planning process before you can even begin. With that said, the planning process has changed dramatically between 6 or 7 years ago compared to what it is now today. If you look on my screen, you're gonna see that I basically have two processes in that image. One is the waterfall process and another one is the iterative process. Now, a lot of people would tell you that waterfall process sucks, waterfall process take a long time, and everything is all about iterative process now. And they would also say that for waterfall process, you have to know all your analysis and requirement first before you can deliver it. So today, let's take a really closer look at the differences between those two processes. First of all, waterfall process, even though it's old, was the primary software engineer process model that almost all software development team uses. The waterfall process starts out with analysis, design, code, and test. The thing is, all that activities is done in one go, meaning whenever the business analysts give you the requirements of how the system should be, the development teams, including the software engineering manager, software engineer architect, lead developers, entry-level, mid-level, senior-level software developers, everybody have to get together and analyze the feasibility of each of the requirements that their users have established. Doing that, it gives us a clearer picture to plan out how do we deliver both a valid system as well as a system that is verified. What I mean is that did we build the correct system versus is the system working as expected. In building the correct system, it is very important because we can only build the correct system according to users' spec if we have all of their requirements in the get-go. Otherwise, it's be very difficult because imagine that they only give you requirements to build out a leg of a table. Now, obviously, if they don't give you the requirement of whether or not the surface of the table is going to be a round table or a square table, then those legs may not work in very well because you may only need 3 legs versus needing to have 4 legs, for example. So this brings me back. For waterfall model, in the old day, it's easier for the whole team to see exactly everything that the team is responsible for and need to develop. And because the entire requirements are established, the team can design systems much better than how it is in the actual world. Now, what's different in the actual world? In the actual world, what this means is that you still perform analysis, design, code, and test, but you only do it for one feature or one requirement at the time. You do not have visibility into all of the other requirements, right? And with that said, a lot of time, because you only do one feature at the time, granted the business will get their feature much faster, but it also means that you are limited to a shorter period of time where you as developers are expected to deliver this functionality, compared to the waterfall where you get to do all analysis for all requirements at once. Then you get to code and test your code before you deploy it to production. In Agile, you only have, in a lot of companies nowadays, 2 weeks to do your development. That include getting the requirement, doing the analysis, performing the design, code, and even test for 2 weeks. That's not an easy task to do to deliver a well-working feature for the business. Right? But time is money, and if people keep taking half a year or even one whole year to deliver the software system using waterfall model, then the business will never get to use that system a year from now. Whereas if you use an iterative process, what business can do is they can prioritize the most important feature that they want to see, have that feature developed, and they can get their hands on that feature immediately or within 2 to 3 weeks. Now for the business, it's a very valuable option to have. Since if you are unable to capture market need, meaning you wait one whole year for the system to do great thing, then by the time it is delivered, maybe their market need has changed. They no longer want that. And that's one of the incentives why people move over to iterative process. Overall, it's really rare for you nowadays to run into waterfall process unless you're in um, mission critical or life threatening software system. I believe their emergency responding or situational awareness system or even military software are still following the waterfall process, because they really want to make sure that whatever we are develop we have the full picture before we even deliver it. For most of all the other companies, it's going to be either the process that you will be follow. For this class, we will also focus on iterative process. For iterative process, later on we're going to learn that it's called Agile Manifesto, and in Agile development methodology there are different processes or model that you can adopt depending on the need of your. So yeah, depending on the need of your team, you probably will follow one of the manifesto of the Agile process. We will take a closer look at what each of them are. For this week, I basically have 2 reading assignments that I really want you guys to read. They are written by Martin Fowler, who is what I consider is an evangelist of software development. I would heavily or highly recommend you guys to read all of his articles because they are very insightful. But that's all. Thank you so much. Bye bye.